Continuing from the last time, today we are going to learn how to directly control the sound. First, let's learn how to play the basic sound. Let's take a look at the background music file. As mentioned in the previous video, the load type of the background music was set to streaming. In order to reduce the size of the file size during build, the quality setting has been modified to 75. Now create an empty game object and name it Manager BGM Play. In order to represent the sound coming out of the speaker 3D object, this manager is placed there. I will apply the audio source component to the manager so that it can play the sound. To play a sound, the audio clip variable must have a sound file applied to it. Let's apply the background music file we just saw to the component. Let's play the game and see if the music plays. Since the play on awake option of the audio source component is true, you can see that the background music is playing immediately. Now let's create a function so that we can play and stop the background music freely. First, we'll remove the music applied to the audio clip of the audio source component. Also, I'm going to uncheck the play on awake item to prevent the music from playing right away. Let's create a script named Manager BGM. Let's apply the script we just created to the game object with the audio source component applied. In order to control the audio source, the script must access the component. Then, I will create two methods to play and stop the BGM. As we saw earlier, we need an audio clip variable to play a sound. To play the sound, we'll need to apply the file to the clip from the audio source. Here's how to use the basic audio source component. To stop playing music, you must use the stop command. Since we will be controlling the background music through the button, we will add a Unity UI directive. Then, I will create two variables for the play button and the stop button. In the start method, let's apply each button's listener to the BGM play and BGM stop methods. After selecting a button to each button variable in the script, I will apply it by dragging and dropping. Finally, I will directly apply the background music file to the clip BGM variable. After playing the game, let's check if the script works correctly. If I press the play button, we can see that the music file is applied to the clip of the audio source component. And it is confirmed that the music is playing. If I press the stop button, we can also check that the music playback is stopped. In the current state, the background music is played only once. Loop option must be turned on to play background music repeatedly. I will initialize the audio clip variable when stopping to prevent unintended playback of the sound source. Also, since we never know for what purpose the music will be played later, it is recommended to initialize the loop setting to false. It is confirmed that the loop item is checked during playback. When I stop playing music, the variable of the audio clip is initialized, and we can see that the loop item is also unchecked. How can we enable 3D audio that sounds differently depending on direction and distance? Let's take a look at the audio source responsible for the background music. By changing the spatial blend properties, we can control the level of three-dimensional sound. Currently, the audio listener component is attached to the camera. I will disable the audio listener attached to the camera and then add a new audio listener to the character. I will change the spatial blend value of the audio source component used for the background music to 1. Now let's play the game and play the background music. It is confirmed that the direction and volume of the background music change depending on the position of the character. This time, let's create a function so that a sound effect is played when the buttons are pressed. Since the audio source for playing background music is being used, we will use a new audio source component for playing sound effects. I will create a game object and a script named Manager Sound, and then apply the script to the game object. Assuming that the UI sound effect function is commonly used in all scenes, I will create it in a singleton format and make it freely accessible. Now let's apply an audio source component for playing UI sound effects. As with the background music, uncheck the play on awake item to prevent unintentional playback. There is a high possibility that there are at least 2 UI sound effects, so I will make the audio clip an array variable. Forget about Unity UI directives. There is no UI in this script. Let's apply 2 sounds to the created audio clip variable. Now let's create 2 public methods to play each sound effect. The button that plays the background music will use the audio clip variable at index 0. Conversely, if the button to turn off the background music is pressed, the index 1 of the audio clip variable will be used. Now let's go to the Manage BGM script. Just add 1 line at a time to the 2 public methods you created earlier and you're done. Let's play the game and see if the UI sound effects play. Great. It is confirmed that the specified sound is played each time the button is pressed. This time, we'll make a footstep sound when the character moves. After selected the character, I'll add an audio source component. Let's set the spatial blend to 1 so that the character's footsteps also play a 3D sound. For a description of the character's movements, please refer to the link in the upper right corner of the screen. Now that we have added an audio source component, we need to access that component variable in our script. And let's add an audio clip variable to register the footstep sound. I'll put the code that plays the sound where controlling the animation of the character. Before we start writing the code, let's add a bool variable to prevent repeated calls to play the sound. The AsSoundWalk variable defaults to false. First, I'll make it play a sound when the character is walking. Therefore, the value of the variable must be false before the sound is played. Since footsteps should be played repeatedly, I will set the loop setting of the audio source to true. And finally, I will set the value of AsSoundWalk to true, to prevent repeated calls to that code. The walking sound should stop when the character is not taking any action. After stop playing the sound, I will initialize all the settings of the audio source. Now let's play the game and see if the character's footsteps are playing. An error has occurred. Let's see what the problem is. The problem was caused by not putting the code that imports the audio source component. Let's play again. We can see the footstep sounds play when the character moves. However, the sound of the character's footsteps sometimes doesn't match the movement. This is because the speed of the footstep sound and the speed of the animation do not match each other. Let's adjust the playback speed of the sound through the pitch setting of the audio source. After checking it several times, it can be seen that when the pitch value is 1.15, the movement of the character and the sound of footsteps are almost identical. Each character may have a different pace and stride length, so let's modify the pitch in the script. In this time, we learned how to control audio source component in script. That's all for today's video. Thank you. See you next time.